Welcome to the Berean Remnant. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Mouser, and today what I'm going to do is a book review of a book that's been recently written by Tim Barnett and Alisa Childers. It's called The Deconstruction of Christianity. And what both Tim and Alisa do in this book is they explain a lot of this current popular movement of deconstructionism. So those who read their book will understand, okay, what is this new attack on the faith? And is it really new? What is it they say? What are some of the main objections they bring up? How is it that we can respond to them? What are some of the philosophical assumptions? What is a philosophical response? What are some of the biblical ways that we have classically responded to this? And what are some of the theological points we need to understand as Christians in order to robustly stand against the deconstruction movement, which is becoming more and more dominant in our culture? One of my favorite parts of the book that they have is there's a section at the end for those who are either struggling with doubt, who have a loved one going through deconstructionism. And basically, this whole section is filled with a message of hope for you. So how is it you as a parent who has a child who's deconstructing, or a grandparent who may have a grandchild or a child who is trapped in this, how is it you can address these people who you love so much? And I think you're going to be walking away from the book really encouraged, but not just encouraged, equipped to be able to answer the questions. Now, as a practical tip that you could take away for those of you that go through the book, what you might want to do is develop a little outline as you map through the book of, okay, here's some things that I want to impart to my kids or grandkids before they're out of my house, before they're out from my influence, so that when they do come up against some of these attacks that deconstructionists raise, that they already have the seed of an answer or an answer to some of those very common objections that they'll hear circulated. So you will be equipped to better defend your faith as a Christian, as someone who loves Jesus, who loves the Word of God. And another really salient point that I think Tim and Alisa make is that they'll define the words that they're using and that deconstructionists use in such a way that you'll be able to clearly see through the fog. Because what a lot of people want to do is they will have a shifting meaning, as if deconstruction means nothing but continually trying to conform your belief to what the Word of God says. And they pin that down and say, that's not really what's going on there. Deconstruction is taking apart the construct of biblical Christianity. And so they want to take that apart. They want to attack what God has really said, what the Bible teaches, the implications that follow from that. And they link that to a lot of things that are in popular culture contrary to the Word of God. And so if you don't agree with what popular culture says, because you actually hold to the Bible, then it's you who have the problem with that. So they have a fantastic response to people who get trapped in this movement, and they equip people to stand for what the truth of the Word of God actually teaches. And so I think everybody should get a hold of this book. Whether you're interested in Christian apologetics or not, you'll be better equipped to engage with the culture, to carry out the Great Commission of Matthew 28, to go into all the world and preach the gospel and make disciples. So pick up Tim and Alisa's book, The Deconstruction of Christianity.